Life can be hard sometimes. Storms come when we do not expect them. One day the sun is shining. The next day, dark clouds fill the sky. We all face these moments. It might be a sickness that comes suddenly. It could be losing a job you loved. Maybe it is the pain of a broken heart. These times can make us feel very small and very alone. It feels like a heavy weight is on our shoulders. We look around and wonder, where did the sunshine go? We ask ourselves, will I ever feel happy again? This is a normal part of being human. Everyone feels this way sometimes. In these dark moments, we look for a light. We search for a story that can give us hope. We need a hero who has walked through the fire and come out on the other side. We need to know that it is possible to survive. We need to believe that our pain has a purpose, even if we cannot see it right now. The Bible gives us such a story. It is the story of a man named Job. His story is not just an old tale from long ago. It is a promise. It is a promise that you can get through this. It shows us that even in our deepest sorrow, we are not forgotten. Job's story is a powerful reminder for anyone who is hurting. It speaks directly to the person who feels lost in the fog of sadness. It is for the one who has cried until there are no more tears left. His journey teaches us about a special kind of strength. It is not the strength of muscles or power. It is the strength of the heart. It is the quiet, stubborn hope that holds on when everything else is gone. His life shows us that our faith can be an anchor in the wildest storms. It can keep us steady when the waves of life try to pull us under. So, let's walk with Job for a little while. Let's see what happened to him. Let's understand the depth of his loss and the mountain of his pain. His story is not meant to scare us. It is meant to prepare us. It is meant to equip us with the tools of resilience. By looking at his struggle, we can learn how to face our own. We can discover the secret to enduring the unendurable. We can find the courage to keep going, one step at a time, even when the path ahead is dark and uncertain. Job's story is a roadmap for survival. Job was a good man. He lived a very blessed life. The Bible tells us he was the greatest man among all the people of the East. He had a large, loving family with 7 sons and 3 daughters. He was very wealthy, with thousands of sheep, camels, and oxen. He had many servants who worked for him. Job was a picture of success and happiness. He was righteous and faithful. He loved God and tried to do what was right in everything. His life was full and complete. It was the kind of life that everyone dreams of having, peaceful and prosperous. Then, in a single terrible day, his world fell apart. One messenger after another came to him with devastating news. His oxen and donkeys were stolen by enemies. His sheep and shepherds were struck by lightning from the sky. His camels were taken in another raid. And then came the worst news of all. A mighty wind had collapsed the house where his children were gathered, and all 10 of them were gone. In just a few moments, Job went from being a man who had everything to a man who had almost nothing. His wealth vanished. His precious children were taken from him. As if this were not enough, Job's suffering was not over. His own body was then attacked. He was covered in painful sores from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. The pain was constant and unbearable. He sat in ashes, scraping his skin with a piece of broken pottery, trying to find some relief. His friends came to see him, but they did not recognize him at first. His suffering had changed him so much. Even his wife, in her own grief and despair, told him to curse God and die. Job had lost his fortune, his family, and his health. He was completely broken. Imagine the weight of that sorrow. Imagine the deep, dark pit of his grief. He had lost every earthly thing that brought him joy and comfort. His life was shattered into a million pieces. The pain in his body was matched only by the pain in his soul. He was surrounded by loss and agony. It is a level of suffering that is hard for us to even think about. This was Job's new reality. He was a man sitting in the ruins of his once beautiful life, with nothing left but questions and pain. He was truly at the bottom. In the middle of all this pain, Job did something amazing. He did not turn his back on God. When he first heard the news about his children and his wealth, he tore his robe and shaved his head. These were signs of deep grief. He fell to the ground, but he fell in worship. He said, "The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Even when his heart was breaking, he did not blame God. He did not understand why it was happening. He was confused and hurt, but he held on to his faith even by a thread. He refused to let his pain destroy his belief. Job's friends came to comfort him, but they were not much help. They sat with him in silence for 7 days. Then, they began to speak. They told Job that he must have done something wrong. They believed that God was punishing him for some secret sin. They tried to find a simple reason for his terrible suffering. But Job knew in his heart that he had lived a good life. He argued with his friends. He defended his integrity. He cried out to God in his confusion and asked, "Why?" He was honest about his feelings. He did not pretend to be okay when he was not. This is a very important part of Job's story. He was not a silent sufferer. He wrestled with God. He poured out his complaints and his questions. He was raw and real. He said that he wished he had never been born. He spoke of his despair and his loneliness. But even in his darkest complaints, he was still talking to God. He never walked away. He was demanding an answer from the one he believed in. This shows a deep kind of faith. It is a faith that is strong enough to handle our doubts, our anger, and our questions. It is a relationship, not just a religion. Through it all, Job never lost his hope completely. He declared, "I know that my Redeemer lives." This was a powerful statement of faith. In the middle of his ashes, with his body in pain and his heart full of sorrow, he looked toward a future hope. He believed that someone was fighting for him. He trusted that, in the end, he would see goodness again. He did not give up. He endured the pain. He endured the bad advice from his friends. He endured the silence. He clung to the belief that his life still had meaning, and that God had not abandoned him forever. Job's story teaches us that it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to have questions when life does not make sense. Job shows us that faith is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting God even when we have no answers at all. We can learn to be honest with God about our pain, our anger, and our confusion. He can handle our emotions. Crying out to Him in our suffering is not a sign of weak faith. It is a sign of a real relationship. We do not have to pretend to be strong when we feel like we are falling apart. We can bring our broken pieces to God, just as we are. We also learn from Job that our circumstances do not define our faith. Job's friends thought that because bad things were happening, Job must be a bad person. But they were wrong. Sometimes, difficult things happen to good people. It is not always a punishment. Life in this world is filled with trials. Job's story prepares us for this reality. It teaches us that our worth is not measured by our health, our wealth, or our happiness. Our worth is found in who we are as children of God. Our faith can remain strong even when our world is shaking. It can be the one thing that stays constant. Like Job, we can find strength by looking beyond our present pain. He held on to the hope of a Redeemer. For us today, that hope has a name: Jesus. We can fix our eyes on the promise that God is with us and will never leave us. We can find comfort in knowing that He understands our suffering. We can build our lives on the solid rock of His promises, not on the shifting sand of our circumstances. This does not make the pain go away instantly, but it gives us an anchor. It gives us a reason to keep going. It gives us a light to look for in the darkness. In the end, God restored Job's life. He gave him twice as much as he had before. He blessed him with a new family and a long, full life. This ending is a beautiful picture of hope. It reminds us that our story is not over yet. The final chapter has not been written. You will get through this. It will not be painless, and it will not be quick, but God will use this mess for good. Do not give up. Hold on to hope. Your morning is coming. Just as the sun rises after the longest, darkest night, there is a new day waiting for you. Trust in that promise.